Here we go. This is the 2017 edition of What's in My Quiver, covering all the gear I used this winter: skis, boots, bindings, what I liked and what I didn't like. So I'll start off chronologically. Early season, I used the Transalp 80 millimeter underfoot. I used this in a 170 length, and this is the smallest ski in my everyday touring quiver. It's like the slalom ski for the backcountry. It's got a nice wide shovel tip, narrower underfoot, which is good because it's going to give you nice edge control, especially on those early season firm icy days and when you're navigating the open terrain or tight terrain, but exposed rocks, trees, debris. And this is a stiff little ski. It's got carbon stringers, paulownia wood core. It's got a nice radius to it, I think 16-meter radius. It's a lot of fun. I recommend anyone, if you can get on a shorter, smaller ski, try it out and learn your limitations. I think 163 would be a little short for me. 170 is good. In general, my sweet spot for everyday touring is going to be around 177, 180. I forgot to mention, this is a ski that you can just throw on your pack. Say you're doing some ice climbing or anytime you need to put your skis on your backpack, having a smaller ski is really important. I find with the longer skis, it can be cumbersome or they can get caught on branches. So, you know, when you're looking at a ski, make sure it's lightweight. And if you're going to be doing a lot of boot packing, it's not going to get in the way. And the second ski I used, and this is the ski that I used most of the winter, is the new Hannibal. This is new for 2017-18. It's very similar, yet different than last year's Hannibal. This is the Hannibal 94. You'll see a slightly different tip. This is going to have more side cut, but the construction is going to be similar with the carbon stringers and the paulownia wood core. And this is the ski that was the touring quiver killer. If I had to have one touring ski, it would probably be this. It's 96 millimeters underfoot for the 176 length, and they're going to scale the width slightly as you go up and down. So the next model up is 183, and that will be 97 underfoot, but there's also a 169 and a 162 version. And I really like this shape. It's fun, it's playful. I don't get very excited about skis as long as it's in that 1,200, 1,300 gram weight class. It's probably going to perform pretty well for touring. So it's lightweight, easy to throw in the pack, not too long. Bases, extruded bases, very tough. If you saw any of the video of what I did this winter, it's remarkable how nice these bases held up. So I'm psyched. I mean, this was a ski that did what I wanted it to do. I could take it out on any tour, whether it was a 12-hour tour or just a quick Sherby lap. It was great. I did ding up the tip a little bit, but other than that, no real damage. It's not very stiff, but I'd be hard-pressed to find a very stiff ski that's in this weight class. So it's great for those medium radius turns, just your classic tours. You're not opening it up, you're not going incredibly fast, but it's just that 90%er ski that I would bring out on most any tour if I had a choice of all my skis here. So this is Hannibal, and check it out for next season. The big boy of the winter, and this is also new with Fischer, this is their Ranger 115. It's a ski that you want some steep and deep powder, and when you need a platform that's nice and wide underfoot and has the stability for high speeds. So I took this out with me to British Columbia, and this is a 188. It was great on the steeps, opening it up in the couloirs, and also skiing some pillow lines. It's a lot of fun. You know, Fischer intends for you to have fun with a twin tip design. It's the same classic Ranger construction with your carbon nose, beech poplar wood core, nice sidewall construction. And this is a ski that I hope to use a lot more into the spring if I want to do some bigger days at Tuckerman Ravine. If I want to go off the ice falls, or if I want to go a little bit faster, they'll make those large turns, and they'll also float over all the crud and whatever variable conditions we get on the East Coast. But honestly, these aren't going to get a ton of use just in my general touring. They're about twice the weight as the Hannibal or Transalp skis. So you also have to use a more significant boot. So I use the Transalp Pro, matches up nicely with this ski. So that's the Ranger 115. This is last year's 108, but I think the 108 is probably a better ski in general for the East Coast. But if you're doing any big trips to Alaska, British Columbia, maybe Colorado, consider going a little wider. The most recent ski I got, although it's not that new, is the Transalp 88, and this is going to be your classic touring ski. This is your introduction to touring, or you just want something that's a little lighter than the Hannibal, so this is probably going to be about 10% lighter depending on your setup. But this is in a 177, and it has the same Transalp shape, wide shovel nose, good side cut, probably 19-meter radius, and it doesn't have the carbon stringers, so it's going to be a little bit softer. But in general, this is a touring ski that you can take anywhere on the East Coast. It's not going to ski powder very well, but everything else, it will do pretty good. It's 88 millimeters underfoot, so it's going to give you a nice touring platform, whether you're breaking a skin track or skiing over some shin-deep, knee-deep powder. It will do the job. I paired it up with Fischer's Speedlight 2.0 or the Dynafit Superlight binding. And this is a great no-frills binding, nice solid metal toe piece. You've got a couple heel riser options with an option of having a brake. I'd much prefer a brake than a leash, and I'd much prefer a brake than no brake. It's just another safety tool that you should have on your ski. I just took these to the Alps, skied it in corn, skied it in some hard pack conditions, and it's a lot of fun. Again, it's a touring ski. It's going to be a little bit softer than your Ranger series. But this is a ski now that on the East Coast, if you're just looking to getting into touring, you know, you save a little money. You can go with the Transalp 88, but it's going to be very similar to the new Hannibal ski. All right, the smallest ski in my quiver was actually my Alpattack Skimo race ski. Not much else to say about this ski. I reviewed it last year, and I've broken a few pair. I've had to learn how to dial it back, but it is a ton of fun to go out there with a lightweight ski. Make sure you have a lightweight race binding and a lightweight boot. You can cover so much ground. You can increase your race time, you know, save 20 minutes in your Skimo racing. And that's another thing. If you're going to do a Skimo race series, make sure you get a Skimo ski. They're not going to be that fun to do, even on the lightweight touring stuff with a touring boot. You're going to have so much more fun, and you're going to be so much more competitive if you're on a race setup. So if you're interested in getting into the Skimo racing or the randonnée racing on the East Coast, definitely let me know. I've got some of these that we can potentially set up for demos. That's the Alpattack. The surprise of the winter was really this ski, and this is Fischer's S-Bound 98, also been around on the market for a while. But what caught my eye about this was that you can use these little easy skins to cover up the base, the fish scales here. So if you need that extra grip on those really firm, cold days, you don't have to rely just on your arm strength and the fish scales. And I didn't know where this was going to fall in my quiver, when I would use it, but it turned out to be just the ultimate backyard ski. If I wanted to go take my dog out or just do something right out the door, these could set a skin track, they could go on the snowmobile tracks, or I could take them to my local Nordic center and have an awesome outing. Now, they are still pretty big. These are 189 and they're 98 width at the tip. I could probably go a little shorter, maybe a little narrower, but I actually like the wider ski for breaking skin tracks. But if you're looking for an alternative to snowshoeing or hiking in the wintertime, these will make any low-angle glades a lot of fun. I don't have the boot down here, but the boot is also incredibly comfortable, and that's a big separation between alpine touring and this backcountry Nordic, is that you're going to be a lot more comfortable in the soft boot, but you're also going to lose and give up a lot of control on the downhill. This is something I look forward to doing a lot more next winter. So the Fischer S-Bound. Of course, I've got my race skis, my alpine race skis. These are the World Cup Masters GS ski 188. If you can do a local beer league, I highly suggest you get involved, but it's a lot more fun when you have the right equipment. And I dropped down from a 191 length to a 188 with a slightly better radius for the type of courses we have. So I have a 27-meter radius on this. If you can go 25, that's probably even better, because they are setting these courses pretty turny. But this is, you know, like 17 pounds, and you know, you match a race boot with this setup, and you can really put these skis on edge, carve, get a lot out of them. And it's coming from an alpine racing background and skiing on the touring equipment all winter. It is so much fun to switch back to a race setup and get back in the gates. So again, if you're looking to get into your local adult race league, These are the ski of choice. Get them in a 183 or 188. You can't go wrong. For boots, I've already reviewed the Carbon Traverse, but there's also the MyTravers for the ladies, which is new for 2017, 2018. And it's really just this boot in smaller sizes. This goes down to a 23.5 up to 27.5. And there's just no carbon sole, but it's plenty rigid. Very comfortable boot. If you want to try this out, I've got some demos. I can't say enough about this boot. The range of motion, you can't beat it. I've yet to find another boot that will give you that 80 degrees range of motion, plus the built-in gaiter will keep your foot warm and dry. A lot of other people complain about their feet getting cold, and that's partially just because wind can get cut right through them, or they have to wear a neoprene gaiter. With these, I found my feet were dry all winter. So this is the Carbon Traverse with the MyTravers for the ladies and the Transalp Pro. And this is your stiffer touring boot, and this is something that you would use with a bigger ski. Something like the Ranger 98 and up would be a great boot, a great ski to pair with this boot. Just a few of these features. You've got 3 buckles. It's going to get your foot in there nice and snug. Easy tour ski mechanism. A real power strap with a cam strap built in. Really comfortable liner. And the flex on this is going to be pretty stiff. In the cold weather, you're going to get a 130 flex on it, and you have your Dynafit certified inserts. So this is the Transalp Pro. I haven't got a chance to use it that much. I'm coming from the Transalp vacuum boot, which is great. If you have a picky foot, you can just get the plastic shell will actually get molded to your foot. And with this, it's a stiffer plastic that you can't get vacuum molded, but I found that the vacuum plastics tend to be a little softer, and I'm 190 pounds, so this is going to be the boot of choice for anytime I'm skiing the Ranger Series skis. Quickly on poles, start off, this is my backcountry Nordic pole, but I also use it for skimo racing. It's got a good uphill basket. It's aluminum, very simple. If you're doing Nordic backcountry, I recommend that you get a good pole that's nice and stiff, because you will be doing quite a bit of poling. And the same goes for skimo racing. Try to get a lightweight aluminum pole as well. For just general touring, I've got 2 options here. First is the Backside Vario. This is your all aluminum pole. This is a pretty nice resort hybrid touring. I don't know, it does everything. So this is a pole that I'll leave in my truck. Say I forgot poles for Nordic backcountry, forgot poles for touring. This will do it all. On the other hand, you have your Vario TI, which is going to be a little lighter. This is going to be an aluminum alloy, and it's going to have a grip more suited for touring that lets you get better adjustments. That said, either or, they're both great poles. They have good adjustment up to 135 centimeters. So make sure if you're in the backcountry, get a pole that works. They also go on the backpack pretty easy. Sometimes I just separate them and I can just stash them. As you can see, one stash is better than the other. So this is definitely your touring pole, and this is your side country pole. Lost my light, but anyway, that's a wrap on my gear for the 2016-2017 season. Obviously, I'll carry a lot of this stuff into the spring and into next year. Some of the major takeaways from the season that I learned working with customers or just my own experience is that you just need to make sure you have the right ski for the type of touring that you're going to be doing. Too many people are bringing alpine gear into the backcountry, or they're bringing the wrong type of touring gear into the backcountry. Maybe they got it online or it doesn't fit right. But to have the most enjoyable experience, you should be trying the gear before you buy it. You should be on the right size gear. A lot of people have boots that don't fit right, or the skis are too wide or too short, too long. But there's a lot of variability in the touring market, so finding that right gear is very important. I found that I can ski a 163 and still have a really good time, and there are going to be plenty of tours where that's going to be my ski of choice. But I also really like the 176, 177. For me, that's what I prefer for most tours. If I'm just going to be focusing on the uphill, it's a great ski. If I start to look at downhill performance and going bigger and faster, making bigger turns, sure, I'll go with a Ranger ski, a 188, something stiffer, something with a bigger platform. But in general, you'll find me on these 3 skis throughout the winter. And that's because they're going to do they're gonna tour better than any other ski in my quiver. So if you have any questions, definitely message me, comment, call me. I'm more than happy to steer you in the right direction. I also have a huge demo fleet, so even if you aren't in the market to buy a ski, try a new ski out. You're not gonna go wrong. It's really valuable information so that you have a reference point for next time you're in the market to buy a ski. And I wanna reiterate, these Nordic backcountry skis, if you're looking for a new toy, another excuse to get outside, I have this motto: if you're spending money and it's gonna get you outside, spend it. So this is a ski that got me out the door quite a bit this winter, the S-Bound. Definitely look into it. So that's it. I hope I answered a lot of questions, and I look forward to seeing you guys out there this spring and into next season.